What if I were to tell you that your name is going to be in the Cape Cod Times this week? The only problem is you won't be able to read about it yourself because it's your obituary. Just suppose you were to die this week. What would your obituary say? For the most part, obituaries are pretty standard. Name, age, not always age, address, survivors, where you worked, or if you're a student, where you went to school. However, the really important things don't seem to get captured in obituaries. When I'm preparing a homily for a funeral mass, sometimes the obituary will give me some information, but other times you want to hear from family members who the person was, especially if I didn't know them. They very, very rarely tell me what school they went to or what job they had. They really tell me about relationships, that this person really loved their spouse, or they really were devoted to their children or to their grandchildren. People try to capture a person in a way that words on paper don't seem to do. How did this person relate to others? How did this person love others? How did this person care for others? What's the point of all this? It's an attempt to understand the message that Jesus gives us in the Gospel of Luke. The rich man was focusing on his wealth, on his possessions, or we might say his stuff. And he was looking for ways to store it in an even bigger barn. But that night, his life was to be taken, and all of that is left to another. And Christ says that it's not possessions that make you rich. It is in following God that we accumulate real wealth. If only we could learn the lesson that many, many terminally ill people learn, and that is that what's important in life is not the time we spend on our hobbies or our work or in our leisure time. What's really important is how you respect yourself, how you respect and love others, and how you share with others a sense of wonder and awe about life itself. I've mentioned before the story about Albert Nobel. He actually had the experience of reading his own obituary in a paper. There was some confusion, and his brother had died, but they put in the paper that Albert had died. And he read how that his fame came from creating dynamite, and how this dynamite was used for so much destruction in wars and in struggles. And it was because of that experience that he decided to establish the Nobel Prizes. He would award people who had great achievements in the realm of physics, or chemistry, or medicine, or literature. And the most famous one, the Nobel Prize for Peace. Nobel had the opportunity to rewrite his obituary. And when he finally did die, there was very little mention of dynamite and a lot about the prizes that he awarded to people, and is still doing today. What we are doing tonight is probably trying to ask ourselves, what am I piling up in my proverbial barn that I need to give away? If I honestly think that I'm wasting time on unimportant things, maybe I need to take control of my life and change. If you think your priorities are mixed up, now is the time to change. Eventually, the Cape Cod Times will get you. One way or another, your name and my name will grace the obituary pages. And it's up to us to determine now what will be said about us when we are gone.